I'm often approached at trade shows and asked, how do I back up data and how do I operate ProImage over a network? And if you understand the data archiving principles, then you actually understand not only data backup, but how to network as well. And to illustrate that, I'm going to launch two versions of Windows Explorer. First, I'm going to right-click on the Start button here and click on Explore. And then I'm going to do that again. Now I have two versions of Explorer, and I'm going to call up the local disk here on the right-hand version, and under my local disk where I have ProImage installed under Program Files, I'm going to expand that, go down to ProImage, and here we have a list of folders under ProImage. So right now, as you can see up here, our path is the local drive, Program Files, ProImage, and we have a folder here under ProImage called Data. And when I click on Data, notice that we have an Images folder, a Mod Images, which stands for Modified Images, and we have some database files. So basically, to back up this data, everything is contained within this folder. So all we have to do is copy this folder to another drive, another location, and we have essentially backed it up. So I'm going to go over here to the other instance of Explorer that I have running, and I'm going to choose this large external drive, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to name it ProImage Data Backup. So now I have on my large external H drive a new folder, ProImage Data Backup, and I am going to now highlight this folder and do Edit, Copy, which the keyboard shortcut is Control-C, and over here I'm going to do Edit, Paste, which as you can see is Control-V, keyboard shortcut. And right now we are actually backing all of the data up from my local data folder, which is under ProImage, which is under Program Files, under the local hard drive C, and I'm backing everything up to this large external drive. So you can do this on a regular basis to back up all of your data. You could back it up to multiple external drives. And here we now see under ProImage Data Backup, I now have a new folder called Data, and it is a virtual mirror image of what we have on the C drive, where we have now backed everything up. Now I'm going to close these, and I'm going to bring up ProImage. Now let's imagine for a moment that that external drive, instead of being an external drive, which it could be, and you could copy in this fashion and back up to multiple externals, but let's imagine for a moment that that external drive is a network server instead. Okay, so now we've put all of our information on the network server. Now let's say we have multiple workstations on the network, workstation A, workstation B, workstation C, and we want all of the workstations to operate from the database that has just been copied onto our server. Okay, so to do that, we of course first want all of our clients or all of our workstations mapped to the network drive so that they're all able to see in Explorer, Windows Explorer, the drive that represents the network drive. That being the case, then we can do the following. We'll drop down the File menu and we go to Database Connection. And when we click on Database Connection, notice the message. Your current database is C, that's our local drive on the workstation that we're currently on. Let's say we're on workstation A. So we're on C:\program files, ProImage, and dataImageBase.mdb. Now that is the database file that is contained under the data folder that controls all of the demographics. So basically when you take images on patient A, for instance, in template 1 and so forth, on position 2, then this single file records where that went, when it was taken, what patient it's related to, what template it was on, and all of that. Okay? And the image itself is either put into the images folder, or in the case of a modified image, the mod images folder. And it controls all of that. So if we go to switch and we go to from the local disk C over to this Drobo, which we're going to call the server. This is actually the external drive I just copied the database onto. But if we go back to this drive, and we're going to think of this as the server over the network, and I go to ProImage Data Backup folder, and I select Data, and I click on the database, image database here, and select it and say Open, I am now, every image from this point forward, every new patient that I enter, every image that I take under an already entered patient or a new patient, all of this will be going directly onto the server. And we can check this by dropping the File menu down, going down to Database Connection, and notice that the new path is now H, which in this case we can imagine is the server, ProImage Data Backup, Data, and the image database file. So now I could go into workstation B and do this, connect to the database that's on the server. I could then go to workstation C and connect also to the database that's on the server. And now all of our stations, workstations, whether they're acquiring X-rays or whether they're simply viewing them, would be pulling all the images from a common database. So once you understand how to back up the data and how the data is archived, you also have a means by which you can operate over a network, because they're pretty much one and the same. They depend on the exact same principles, which is basically a data folder which has mod images and an images folder contained within it, and a database file itself.